Who's that from On the Block?
On my block.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that show.
Y'all good?
Yeah.
Welcome to another Clues podcast as we close out 2024 and bring in 2025. We have no clue what we're going to talk about like we normally do. We're just going to go with what happened in 2024, what we think is going to happen in 2025. It's
been in a year.
It's been a long year.
Last couple of months, really.
But when you look back, it's like it almost, you don't even remember most of it
I know.
because it's like a
Crazy.
blur.
Yeah. What were we doing last year at New Year's Eve? Do you even remember?
Well, yeah, because I was recovering from my surgery.
Oh, yeah, and Alba was recovering from her
Yeah.
surgery. Okay.
So it was a daunting
It
year.
was a different Christmas. Yeah.
Yep. Our Christmas was different that year.
Yeah.
But it seemed like they just saved most of the big events for like
This year.
coming up like 2024.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they left, you know how they do like a season intermission, like where they do
Oh, yeah, where they like kind of take like a,
like a little couple week break,
yeah,
then go on
like a
and
mid-season finale.
mid-series break.
Yeah.
I feel like we just like got left on a cliffhanger
When
right before we went on Christmas break. You know how
I know, because everything kind of stopped.
everything just stopped. Everything's so quiet
I
now.
know. TikTok, like
Everything's-
nothing, like there's no.
Well, TikTok's more filtered now. That they have to. No, I'm not saying.
So,
No, I'm not saying more
I did
filtered.
see a video where, and I don't know like how true this is, but instead of using certain words,
Right. They
for
use
the
like
events, they're
Dior
using-
bags.
yes,
yeah,
like-
right.
or
Or whatever they're calling
yeah,
them.
like the up there was Dior bags.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So so people are having to still speak in code, right?
Mm-hmm.
So much else happened. I mean, like, where do you even begin? You know, I don't even know. I mean, so what would you think? All right, looking at 2024, what would be the most shocking thing that you heard about? Not saying it's true, not saying that you believe it, but what was like the biggest topic of conversation that you heard people talking about at one point in time in 2024 that just kind of like you still can't get over it or you still can't believe it?
I mean, like there's a couple of different events, and I don't want to say a couple of them because it was politically based, and I don't want to talk about that. But it would have to probably be, if it wasn't for that, it would be maybe when like those videos back from the 60s started going public about the alien, the interview.
On the 50s,
It-
Area
whichever-
51.
Yeah, about that alien, and he's in there, and he's answering questions, and he's just
So that's when supposedly our government
when they
had
finally decided to release some stuff, or
had taken an alien hostage after they supposedly shot
Yeah.
down a UFO,
yeah.
and they were able to. The video shows they were able to interview him. Right?
Mhm.
Who knows what you believe anymore about videos these days? I mean, even though the footage looked realistic, there's still a lot of manipulation that can happen. So,
Mhm.
and I think that's one of the reasons that they're okay with showing you stuff on the internet now, because you just scroll through it anyway, right?
Right.
You don't even, it doesn't matter. You look at it and you're like, and then you go on, right? It's like, you don't even believe half of it. Even if you scrolled across something that was like really true.
Well, yeah, I mean, it used to be it'd just be like, you're just sitting here scrolling, not really paying attention to stuff, and now you're kind of like, it's different now.
All right, Kelly, what about you?
No more TikTok.
No more TikTok. I should have figured that. So your biggest thing, right, or that you heard that might impact you was the possible ban of TikTok.
I've been on it since Musically, so I've been on it since I was like 10.
Jeez, that's
10
right.
years old, original Musically. Y'all had a different verification process like back then, right? So what was
Yeah,
the...
I think it was a lot simpler. Like, I think you should have a certain amount of followers or something.
Musically was basically kind of like TikTok, but it was only basically people singing and clips. Is that
Mm-hmm.
way it was set up for?
And dancing, right?
Yeah, I think it was just singing and dancing. It
Okay.
wasn't like,
And so how long were the clips supposed to be? Kind of like
I think
now?
you could only do 30 seconds,
Mhm.
15 to 30 seconds.
And that was that a spinoff of Vine?
It came after Vine, but
So probably another thing to come on like Vine.
Yeah.
and then Musically
TikTok people bought it.
bought out Musically. And how long have they bought that out since?
Like 2014, maybe 2015.
That's all.
Yeah,
Feels like it's been there for so long.
8 or 9 years,
Yeah.
or 9 or 10 years
Yeah.
already. TikTok.
Oh, that's crazy.
Wow.
I mean, so yeah, but
That is crazy.
supposedly supposed to be banned 20th, 19th or 20th,
When's inauguration?
the day before the inauguration or the
19th.
day after.
But they
Did
said
it pass?
But they got they put like an injunction, or they appealed,
Mhm.
and so the court has agreed to a hearing, or has agreed to meet about it.
Okay.
And so at this point, there's a few options they can do. They can say, our ruling stands. There's nothing you can do. There's nothing anyone can do on it. And as of January 19th or 20th, TikTok is banned in the United States, and we're pulling it from all the app stores.
Yeah,
If
I
that's
did
the
hear that.
case, then what some people are saying is that you will be able to keep your TikTok app as long as you don't delete it, but you won't get any updates. So that you could.
So nobody new could download it.
Nobody
if
new
you
can
don't
download
already
it.
have it, then you're not able to download it. But if you've already got it, then it stays.
Now that's
there's just no more updates.
right, and
That's crazy.
that's for iPhone users.
Yeah.
Samsung users are they're more flexible with their jailbroken phones or their systems, so they would be able to get more updates. And I know there's some people out there that can jailbreak or do whatever to iPhones, and it's just a more restricted process. But the people who have Samsung phones, they would be able to download all the updates and get them from people like developers on the web. So they would just go out there and they would download it and they would get their updates, to where iPhone users would be more likely just to have the old features. So you can never do an updated feature. If they went forward with some big thing that you just would love, you couldn't do it based off of that route. You would have to try to get a VPN and bypass, like you were living in Canada or something like that, to be able to download the app.
That's crazy.
And you always have to keep it on that VPN whenever you were on TikTok. If not, then it would catch you in the United States and it would kick you out. You know what I'm saying?
That's crazy.
Something along that lines.
Yeah.
Another option is we will agree to hear it, to hear the case
Oh, okay.
about First Amendment rights, freedom of speech, but about the impact that it has on the actual American citizens.
Okay.
I think, I could see, back whenever Trump first mentioned it, whenever he was in office, he's the one actually they brought it up, right? I mean, it's a national security from China. And back whenever they had mentioned it back then, it really wasn't at the level it is today. We're talking about shopping and everything is added to it. And so a lot of these mom and pop shops, a lot of these individual people that are, that are very creative, they're able to sell their items, their products and everything. And they have to do it legally. They go through TikTok Live. They go through TikTok and set up. And if they get any type of, TikTok shop, and if they get any money there, they're getting a W-9 or whatever it is, or for their 1099 or whatever, for their earnings that year, 1099.
Right.
So they're paying taxes on it, which is generating income for the United States, right? So the reason I said that, he brought it up before, and it may have been relevant, like I could see where they would go with the invasion of privacy, even though like Instagram and Facebook, they're already have all of our data anyway.
Yeah, it's true.
And
It's out there.
And when you get down to it, it's basically because Zuckerberg and Musk don't like that they don't have the number one app, right? So,
Right.
So now they're threatened by the China app. But so not only does it bring, like we said, bring in tax dollars, but they all use the platform for their elections. They reach the viewers. Look, you would never in the past see like a president go on a podcast
Oh, I know.
like Joe
Yeah.
Rogan. He knew what he was doing.
That was
so,
when you initially asked me the question earlier, that was what I was pointing at, was him going on that
but
podcast.
I'm glad that he was able to do, even though he was, he's elder, right? He's like, I don't know how old he is. What, he's in mid-70s, late 70s? Trump, yeah. I don't know, 70s, 80s, I don't know. But I'm glad he was open to the idea, like, because this is how you speak to this generation. Like, I'm not even talking about our generation. I'm talking about if you want to reach the
like this
25, 30 and younger.
a little bit, yeah.
30 and younger,
This
you better be
generation.
doing it online somewhere.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying? It's you better have that together. So I think they showed him the numbers, and he was like billions of streams with him about his politics, and the other parties got it too. You know, it's not just because it was Trump. All parties took advantage of all the media formats. So, and people were like, okay, how come it's okay for y'all to use it during your campaign, but we can't use it over here for our families and make money? Because some people are using this as a second and third income.
Right.
Just to be able to survive,
Exactly,
right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's the biggest issue that I'm seeing right now is like, okay, if you take all this away from people, you know, you're not only taking away their freedom of speech, you're taking away their livelihood.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's
and that's the
right.
biggest problem I have with it was like you see so much talent on here from people who may not be able to work, you know, anywhere
Right,
else.
traditionally.
Yeah, because maybe they look different, or you know, we've seen it all on here, and I always think it's so creative that they're on there being able to, you know, be themselves and make money.
And our age group and above are going to have to accept the fact that for some people, influence is a career.
It is.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like I can fathom because I stayed up in
Right.
tech, right?
Yeah.
But most people, when they hear like, hey, what do you do for a living? Oh, I'm an influencer. Like, oh, so you post a few videos. No, some people actually put
They put a lot of
hours
thought
and
into it.
hours. And I mean, if you look at some of these videos, some of these people don't post for like a week or so because they're putting that content together
And there's
because
that-
they want
yeah,
quality.
There's that one
you
chick
know?
that does it like once a month or so.
Yeah,
'cause
I
hers
mean-
are just so involved.
And that they go and as they travel, they take little clips and they, you know, as they're boarding the plane, once they get to the person. And so it's like a lot of effort and everything goes to it. And a lot of people do it full time. So it's not fair to these people that have a full-time career either, you know,
Right.
which it's always best to have backup.
Right.
Always, regardless of what you're doing, is to have multiple streams of income,
Exactly.
even if it's 3 or 4 things coming in, you know, that way you don't really lose everything whenever you lose one job. But
Right.
so a lot of stuff spun off from the TikTok ban. So another thing they could do is say, yeah, we'll hear it. We agree that it's, go back up. They can say, we'll hear the case, but it may be a year down the road before we hear the case. So we can either ban it or not ban it in that time frame. So they have to make that decision. Or they can say, we will agree to hear about it, and then we'll leave it unbanned until we make our final decision. And then at that point, they could say, we deem it to be not in any type of operating any differently than Facebook or Instagram or X in relations to data. If anything else, they have more safeguards in place than Facebook, than Instagram and anything. I mean, I was shocked that the type of content that's allowed on Instagram now. I mean, I can't believe it. I mean,
really?
Anyway, it's like, and then X is pretty much the same way. I mean, it's not the Instagram and Twitter that we're accustomed to.
What's different about X?
No, X is.
No, X, just think of what you would think of, like if you think of a rated X movie.
Oh.
So it's gone to that extreme.
So it's completely like, because I don't think I've actually even been on it since it was Twitter.
That, you know, as you go on, I don't know how long it's been like that. I don't know when he bought it, and I don't know what flipped the switch, but I was seeing some TikTok videos like, man, you know, it's like X has become X. And I was like, you know, and it's like all these kids, you know, they're seeing this and then they're going over there. And which, you know, Elon, he's not about any filters.
Right.
He's like, hey, do what I say to an extent, but he's more gung ho, wild, whatever it is. But all right, so we had yours was what do you think? We said like what was the biggest shock or the biggest takeaway from 2024 for you? Your event was what?
Well, if it wouldn't have been the whole Trump Rogan podcast
Right.
because I didn't want to go the political route, it would have been the alien.
Oh, the alien video that you were talking about from the 50s that they revealed, and yours was
I
the
don't know if
TikTok
that was
ban.
just more shocking or if it was just more cool.
Right.
So
All right. So what is my biggest 2024 thing that shocked me? I don't know if I was more, I'm not really shocked by the idea that they're talking about the drones and all that stuff, which
Mm-hmm.
is, you know, a lot of it's military, a lot of it's, you know, Elon Musk's brother owns a drone company. So the drones,
Oh yeah.
yeah,
that's
he,
right.
so the drones are okay, you know, and whatever they're claiming, plasmoids or all that stuff, I'm okay with whatever's in there. I think what the biggest thing I'm waiting to see how really unfolds, because this is going to really two things, but one thing is the whole Diddy thing.
Oh, I
No,
forgot
I'm
about
real.
that.
I mean,
That's
like we can.
crazy.
I mean, I just want to see what happens.
Me too. I want to know,
But okay, now
but I also don't want to know who all's involved because it's going to make
look,
me feel
how
differently
come?
about some of these celebrities. Because like, what if it's some of them that we
Oh,
really
it's gonna
actually
be-
watch, and I really
oh,
think that it is.
Yeah,
But at the same time, it's like, please don't, please don't.
look, this is when you're going to
Because you're
realize
just like, that's
this
so
is for
cool.
entertainment purposes only. This is when you're going to realize all those people that has those fronts
Mhm.
for those organizations that support
I know.
kids
That's
for
the
entertainment
part-
purposes only. That it was another reason, because you know, other than that, I don't have any proof. I don't claim to know it, but you know.
It just.
So I'm just really curious because look, we know the individuals involved. Well, I say we know them. We don't know them. We've heard speculation of the names. We don't know them personally. When I say we know the, you
I
know,
was like,
we've heard
What you talking about?
speculation, and we all have our theories.
Mm-hmm.
You know, some people have been following this since day one. Some people have been speaking it for years, and we don't know what got on people's conscience. We don't know what, you know, because look, if they didn't want you to find out about that right now,
We wouldn't have
whoever's
found out
they,
about
whoever, it would have never got brought to the public.
right.
Don't tell me that it just now started happening. And after all of these years, I don't know, 20 plus years, I'm just going to guesstimate, that someone hasn't tried to speak before and maybe end up missing or,
Well, it all kind of started coming out, if you think about it, over the last several years when the Me Too movement started, and then all that, when these people these women were finally, or these people were finally coming forward.
look,
For events that happened long time ago.
and
And
they
then
were
it just
able,
kept escalating.
they're able to come forward on platforms like this
Yeah.
because you don't have a voice. How are you going to face P. Diddy? How are you going to face Jay-Z? How
Yeah,
are you
you're
going to
not gonna
face
be able to-
Beyonce? How are you going to face Rihanna for entertainment purposes only? You don't have enough money to face them.
Right.
You don't. The only voice you have to face anybody that's doing anything wrong to you that in the
Is your
past
own.
is your platform.
Yeah.
And it doesn't take a big following or a you know, to get that video
you just
out
have to
there.
have someone who resonates with your message.
Right. I mean, people are, you know, if you look out there, people are just coming forward with what's getting off their chest, you know?
But
It's just,
and that's what I'm saying is like, so that movement started, and then I think the Nickelodeon, the behind the scenes or whatever.
was that this year?
Yeah. And then, no, it was.
I don't even know what year that was.
No, I'm talking about
With,
this is,
the
you asked-
Nickelodeon
you asked
guy,
why
right?
now? Why now is all these people coming out about Diddy?
Right.
And I'm saying, well, if you think about it, it's kind of been a long time coming because over the last several years, you've had the Me Too movement, the behind the scenes, like all that stuff, like Hollywood, Hollyweird, all that stuff.
Right.
All those people started come forward, or all these child or young adult actors were coming forward, and then it's all linking back to.
So
this stuff now,
as the victims are getting
supposedly.
older, they're feeling comfortable and coming forward
Right.
forward and explaining what happened. You know, I mean,
Or they just can't live with it anymore because, as we've seen in Hollywood, a lot of those actors end up, committing
Right.
suicide or overdosing
Voluntarily.
or or
you know,
made to
just
look
if you
like
happen to
that, or-
be at a
Yeah.
concert or whatever, and someone else happened to be in the same
yeah, I mean,
town as you are, and you happen to come up pushed off a balcony or something.
It's not funny.
R.I.P. Mr. Lim. Sorry that happened to you.
that's horrible.
But why is no one talking about that either? It's like
Because
that's
of
just
who
happened
all's
too, though,
involved with
because
it.
the same people involved in it for entertainment purposes. Only we don't have any facts. We're just speculating over the new year, getting rid of the 2024 vibes and bringing in
Bringing
the
all the
2025.
new ones.
So the reason I said I had two is because they go together,
Okay.
and we're going to tie them together. And now it's the other character that was on the Mario game. You know, remember Mario and Luigi?
Yes.
Okay, so
Nobody talks about that anymore.
no, they do, but we're taking. What happened
Well,
was
it's not showing
that's
up on
that's
my
on
line of TikTok
Yes.
right now.
because everybody don't look. It's like, look, guys, don't force that over them on the holidays. Just let them rest. Let them go. Think about this stuff over 2024. It's like a little teaser, right? So we got the teaser trailer. So, Mr. Mario's brother, Mr. Luigi, right? So he did what he did, and it's kind of like the people were like, it's like, here we go. What's going to happen? And then kind of the Diddy thing went kind of back down a little bit when that happened. And then wouldn't you know that lo and behold, the only two things that were going on at that time other than our alien invaders, right, was P. Diddy, Luigi, Mario, and our UAPs, right? And now we found out that the Luigi thing and the Diddy thing could be linked.
Right, because they share a common space at the same prison.
Because they're in the same, the lawyers are married, right?
Yes. Oh, that's right.
The lawyer for Luigi
is married to the
lawyer for Diddy. Now, how does that?
And they share a common space at the same jail or at the same prison in New York City.
He got to go to the same prison as Diddy.
And they're the only ones really. This is a very elite area. Very special area of the prison.
We don't know. I don't know
watched the whole thing on it.
I mean, we don't
YouTube.
know. We're not going to say. We're going to speculate what happened. But what if Mr. Z, XYZ, you might want to throw a J in there somewhere. What if he didn't want Mr. Diddy speaking anymore? If Mr. Jay-Z, I'll just say, what if Mr. Jay-Z, I was trying to do it in code, but I forget you're a little out of it right now.
I didn't know what you was talking about. I did.
So if Mr. Jay-Z didn't want Mr. Diddy talking, and we already got this guy over here that's the Robin Hood of America right now, why don't we, as a season cliffhanger...
Don't go down that route now.
What if we, as a season cliffhanger, we'll slide Luigi over in his prison and while we go on Christmas break. In the meantime, guys, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy Hanukkah.
Oh my God, that's crazy. Boom.
And then, so we know we have something to kick off in 2025, hopefully. We're everybody's kind of, y'all hear the ding? They tapping into our ears now. Anyway, so 2025, we know we got some things coming. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I haven't forgotten. I mean, I ain't like just sitting stressing over any of it.
I'm really not either.
But I need some answers.
I'm sure we'll get them at some point.
Do you think we will?
At what point?
You know what? I honestly don't care.
At what point in 2025?
Yeah, what point in 2025?
I don't know because I do not foresee the future.
Listen, Dr. Stephen Greer, I want to take you down one rabbit hole Dr. Stephen Greer, he is a well-known individual in his field, which is dealing with extraterrestrials and a lot of knowledge about stuff that happened at Area 51. He has a lot of connections to people that worked in the secret programs.
Okay.
So the thing is if you know about a program, if you know about Area 51,
right?
If you know about if you know about Black Ops 6.
Right.
If you know about any of these programs, they're not secretive.
Right.
They want you to know about them. There's tons of what I'm saying is, even though they got you diverted at like on Area 51, that stuff's going on there too. There's other stuff out there called black sites that you would never hear about because it's one of those things like you've seen in the movies. Like they hire people that's very high in their class that maybe is now out of the military, that's above their ranks, and they'll pay them to do specialist type stuff, right? So Dr. Greer said that he claimed, and I did a video on it, right, that he claimed before Christmas and 2016, January the 16th or 17th, that there would be some whistleblowers come forward.
Oh, I do remember.
And he would say that they would make known about these black sites. There's 6 of them. Like he said, there's 6 black sites. Around Area 51 is one of them. But like other areas like outside, when they're saying that they were coming out of the ocean over there, they talked about stuff coming out of the ocean already.
Yeah.
There's a black site over there. So he said what these individuals that worked in there, and that were very good friends of his, he said that there is stuff happening in there that is for entertainment purposes only, we don't know. I don't know the guy. He could be lying. That cloning beyond anything that you could imagine had started back in the 50s. At that point in time, they were able to shoot down. They were in possession of, I don't know how they built it for entertainment purposes only. They were in, I have to say that ever so often. I won't say it much anymore. They can do with it what they want.
They'll just cut that part out.
They were in the military government, even at that point in time, was in possession of electromagnetic rays or beams, whatever you want to call them. They knew that this was one of the things that, if you look at the plasmoids that we have now, they've showed a little better pictures of them, how they, even though they may look on the inside, they may look like some type of your common UFO thing that we have in our mind, what a UFO may look like, like the big silver thing that's going to land and suck the cows up, right, Callie? Mm-hmm. But that plasmoid thing, some people believe that's what's covering them, and the government supposedly come up with this electromagnetic laser that shot one down, and that's how they were able to reverse engineer it and make our type of drones that we have or advanced technology. But ours, obviously, we had to put FAA stuff on it because we had to still comply with all the regulations, right? So the black sites also would contain details of human trafficking of our own people and of kids and of foreigners.
So they have all that information?
They did. There was a hurricane that Dr. Greer, this is on Dr. Greer, you can look it all up. He's very credible. He's very vocal about it right now. He's trying to get the word out. He's, like I said, he's way more way more of an expert than I'll ever be in any of this. But he's very credible. Like, he's not a guy that you're just going to say, like, this guy don't know what he's talking about. He's had connections to the White House for many years. I mean, he's like been connections with all the Bushes and Clinton and all that. So he knows a little bit of what he's talking about. Okay. So they had word of when a hurricane had hit an island. I'll just give you, I won't go into details. One of our military people that was flying over was able to see the aftermath, kind of what happened. And when they saw it, when they saw the area, they had seen humanoid people there like us, and they were taking and boxing up individuals, participants, abductees, whatever you want to call them, into wooden crates with their IVs and everything. And they were loading them up into a circular cylinder thing. And I read it, I was like, you got to be, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't, and it's in there. It's even in the CIA released documents. It's there. The story's there, so,
crazy.
But a lot of people look at it, even, so really to hear me even say anything like that, I don't even believe, you know what I'm saying? Like, how can you even believe that even happening?
Right.
But these are the type of things that's going on in the black sites.
That's crazy.
And you've seen it on your TV shows to where it's, if we're found out, this side is just like, here are our protocols to make sure that are no trace left behind. So these are no trace left behind type situations to where if something ever happens, this operation is done and it never existed. So we're talking about human mutation, trafficking, cloning beyond what we could even fathom. So I don't know. I don't know how true it is, but I think that's kind of like, Dr. Greer, right? What do you do with any of that information? You try not to think about it. You just go about your day and say, how do I go into 2025 normal?
Like, what do you think about that, Callie? Like the humanoids putting people in like little
crates.
When you first said that, I was
Isn't
thinking
there
like
a movie
a coffin.
that's something like that?
Probably.
Where
And
they
that's
wake
what-
them up in like the future or something, and it's like all these people that have been in there for like decades. And then
Right. Yeah.
There's
I mean,
some
that's
type of movie like that.
Well, there's
And it
that
kinda
one
like
movie
reminds
where
you
it's
of
like they're in
being in,
space, but
what's that one movie with the Avatar?
yeah,
They're able to do stuff in their sleep and travel over. But
that's cool.
the one thing that we forgot that they snuck in us like right at the end, right before Christmas. the claim that NASA's we're supposed to trust NASA, right? I mean,
Oh yeah,
we're supposed to trust NASA, but they claim we got a parallel universe on Antarctica where time travels backwards. They just snuck it in right at Christmas break.
So everything we go for is like we're there, but we're going backwards. I don't get it.
I mean, is that where
How can you do
is that
stuff in
where Leonardo
reverse?
DiCaprio hung out for the longest? You know,
And
like
then
he
he
looked
just- and he-
he
'cause
looked
he still looks the
29 for
same.
40 years.
Yeah.
You know, and all these people are coming popping
Tom
back
Cruise
up.
will just like magically look exactly like he did in
I know
Top
Tom
Gun.
Cruise, people
don't
say, well,
age.
that's Scientology, he's in there with the devil. That's what they'll say Tom Cruise is.
Yeah,
and,
but I mean, regardless.
but look, Tom
What
Cruise
about all
just
these
got nice
celebrities
jeans,
that all
right?
of a sudden just like went back in time like 30 years?
I know. Shania Twain, listen, girl.
And
I grew up listening to you. You got some explaining to do.
I know because just a year ago, she did not look like that.
Mm-mm. Do you know who Shania Twain is?
I
Probably
know
not.
of the name.
You know of the name, right?
I don't know what she looks like.
I mean,
And
look,
she
she was very
amazing,
she was
very
a
attractive
very
back in
attractive
the
lady
day.
in her age, and even in her even
Back in
in,
the 2000s.
even as she got
early
older, she aged
2000s.
very well. But she aged gracefully, and she was on some movies, right? Some faith-based movies.
Oh,
We even
yeah, I
saw
think
her
she
on
was,
that.
yeah.
I don't even know what.
That was Amy Grant.
No, it's also Shania Twain was on
Shania
them.
Twain's
Yeah,
on
she
one,
was on a
yeah.
few of them.
Okay.
But you're like, oh, I didn't really recognize her. But now when you see her, it's like, is
Oh my
she
God.
like 35? Is she
She
39?
looks like she did when she was like 20 something.
I don't know what
But
happened.
not only that, they did it to there was a few more celebrities that it happened to.
I can't believe
even
it.
remember now.
Yeah, I'm
'Cause
trying to
it's just
think
like
who
it
the
keeps
comedian was that they kept on saying they cloned him.
Yeah.
And then when he got out, it was like, y'all been talking about they cloning me. So these celebrities and everything are aware of what's going on in the
Yeah.
talk because they're listening to the buzz too, because they know if a video goes viral about a certain topic
Mhm.
or
Everybody
a certain
rushes to it.
person, they know that that's what the current buzz is, right?
Yeah.
They know that even though it may not be true, that's what the perception of the people are right now.
Mhm.
So if 90% of the people saying Jamie Foxx is a clone, then Jamie
That's some
Foxx
crazy stuff.
then Jamie Foxx has got like prove it, and that's what he's
Mhm.
trying to. He tried to go out on the set, and he's like, "Y'all been saying I'm cloned."
Mm-hmm.
So he even acknowledged the fact that people were saying he's cloned. I mean, because they'll pull up comparisons like, all right, this Jamie Foxx right here is no longer this Jamie Foxx, and they'll show videos of
Oh, didn't they do that with like Kanye or something?
Kanye. Yeah, like Kanye got replaced at this point in time, right?
They
So
did
there've
that
been a
with
lot of
Eminem,
people
too.
that-
they tried to say that when
And
he went to
Avril
the darker
Lavigne.
look.
And trust me, there's people.
Avril Lavigne, yeah.
And look, let's don't just breeze right over that because there's people that dedicate their life
Oh, I know.
to proving this, trying to prove this stuff, and it's like, here, guys, you do not see these people that are transforming right in front of
I
you.
mean, they're saying like Britney Spears isn't Britney Spears, like this poor girl.
Well, we know. I mean,
She's
look, let's just
been
let
going for a
Brittany rest.
while.
Let's
I
just let her
know.
rest. Kevin, he walked away as a champ on that one, going from a fry guy to the fly guy. I mean, he was a fry cook, and then he became her
Kevin
dancer,
Federline.
backup dancer.
Kevin who?
Kevin Federline.
Fertilize, yeah.
It was they were married and they have Jaden.
So look,
and,
he was a
I
fry
forgot the other
cook,
one's name.
became her backup dancer.
Mhm.
Which, hey, I'm not no disrespect to any fry
Okay, he
cook,
worked his way up.
because there's a lot of fry cooks that are way more talented than I'll ever be in anything. But I'm just saying how he progressed through his
Then he
through.
married Britney Spears.
Is he not the one that had like all the control over her?
No,
No, that was
was
their
her
parents.
dad.
Oh,
No, that was her dad,
Her dad.
and then
So K Fed,
somebody else.
didn't they call him K Fed?
Yeah.
Kate Fed. I think he tried to get into music and everything too.
Mhm.
He actually had to take care of the kids for the longest, right?
He still has custody of them. They're in Hawaii.
I didn't keep up with it, but I think he had to step in and step up and be the father. I mean, he had the money to do it at that point because
was it not his kids?
it
Yeah,
was
they're
his
his
kids.
kids.
Oh,
But,
But
I'm sorry.
she
Let me
was
back up.
unable to
She
take care of them for a
she
while.
had a breakdown. She was she went through a lot.
She did
Those
go through a
kids
lot.
on
she
Disney,
got put under like
we'll
all of
never
her
know what they went
medical
through.
rights got taken away from like her own.
Yeah,
choice.
they
She couldn't make any decisions.
Yeah, that's
they
what it was.
they
Sorry.
were medicating her beyond her limits,
Mhm.
and they were taking advantage of her money.
Mhm.
And they were saying, "Look, she's not in her right mind. We need to have control of her funds."
Yeah.
And then she's telling, "Look, y'all, this is what they're doing to me." She even like shaved her head, and people were like, "Look, she's just crazy. She's rebellion," and nobody would really listen to her. And then over time, I mean, she just lost it, And and shame on her parents or whoever was involved. I don't know, whoever allowed that to happen to her.
But she got all of her stuff back, right? Like her rights back and everything.
It was like a conservatorship.
Conservatorship,
Or
yeah,
something
whatever.
Like that. Yeah, however you
but
say
it ended or something, like she was
like
able
just
to,
like a year or so ago or 2 years
Yeah.
ago. Like she's been under it for like 15 years.
And I know a lot of people are like, hey, this is Brittany. She's saying that, oh, I'm 4 years old. But I think that's more of like since she got her new freedom.
Oh, maybe so. Maybe it's been about 5
Since,
years.
since she had her new life back. And she sees that as her rebirth. And I can see that. Like, she don't want to remember anything. Like, she's like, anything beyond this point, I'm no longer acknowledging. I don't even care if it's my music or whatever it is. I'm going to leave it here. And I'm 4 years old in this new life. And I can see how she can find peace with that,
Yeah.
Some people have to handle life like that. You have to learn to have funerals for yourself.
I think being a child in that industry would just be like crazy. I mean, you have to be a hands-on parenting for kids in that industry, and you have to know what's going on with your kids.
I would say it's
You
way
can't just-
different now, but I don't know because I'm not behind the scenes and I don't know what your child's going through. But I think it's more. I think people are more cautious about it now because of all the videos that are out there.
Out there now.
How people are able to just get on the video and everything is pretty much, it never goes away anymore. So if you do this, it's going to ruin everything you do to your family, to everybody around you. So I think people are more cautious, and I'm glad people are able to come forward now. And that would be another reason that we would hate that TikTok would go away for people that are using it for their voice.
Yeah.
They don't care about the views. I don't care about the views whenever we're posting stuff because we're having general conversations about life,
Yeah.
So those people, they're just telling their story. Before, they didn't have that platform. They couldn't tell their story. And a lot of people relate to that because they went through the same things. So they're finding their people that they're able to relate to,
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's a lot. I mean, a lot in 2024. I mean, what do we even pick up? Like, what episode are we going to pick back up on when we go in 2025? Is it going to be like
a new series?
Are they going to do you want a new series?
I don't know. It depends.
I mean, some of these are pretty interesting. I'm going to tell you what, I'm finally at the stage where I'm like, okay, most of these are pretty cool. I mean, I could watch both of them. I mean, we need some of that good, healthy popcorn because it's going to get good.
Skinny Pop?
Skinny Pop. White cheddar skinny pop.
White cheddar queso.
Waylon, I forgot about Waylon, a doggo over here.
He is just out.
Just
This is his
chilling.
zen spot. He has had it.
Normally he would be, he would probably be doing the same thing or laying on the floor, but since we're popping fireworks tonight around New Year's, they started
New
around 6:30.
Year's.
It's not.
It's not yet.
It's not.
No, I'm telling
But it is in other
it's
countries.
9:00
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, Happy New
So
Year in
Happy
your
New
country.
Year if anybody's on from anywhere else and it's
Yeah.
already
My bad.
midnight.
Or if you're watching this
But
at a future time.
I don't know if your generation knows this, but you can say Happy New Year's on New Year's Eve because it's what's coming.
Yeah.
Like you don't wait until
I don't
the day.
tell you Merry Christmas on Christmas Eve. I don't tell you Happy Halloween the day before Halloween.
Oh, I do. I tell people Merry Christmas all through the several
Now,
weeks.
see, more
leading up to
people, yes,
Christmas.
that's more common. Do you not hear it in stores? Merry Christmas
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year
or Happy Holidays?
Happy
Yeah,
holidays.
happy
But I don't know about, they will say Happy Holidays and Happy New Year because they do that because they more than likely.
Because you got to include something.
No,
Most
listen,
people
no,
celebrate something.
Here's why. Most people go ahead and get out of the way because 99% of the people that you saw, you will never see again.
Right.
So Happy New Year, because I'm probably never going to see you again. Unless you're in a small town and you're going to run into your cousin Joe every day. You know the small town people, everybody knows everybody, and you're going to run into everybody.
I don't know. That sometimes sounds
That's
nice.
good, right? Sometimes, but sometimes
Maybe not for
You
the
better
kids
not
that
mess
stay in
up.
trouble.
you better not mess up in that small town.
I know, but
They'll
I
know
mean,
your news the second it happens.
I'm just thinking like when they're
They'll
in
put your
school
news
and
out there
stuff.
before you even know it.
Oh, I know. We grew up in small towns.
I mean, they're the ones that invented they put your ear to the
the little birdie told me.
you know how they put the ear to the cup and they
the
run the
string?
line, they string.
Did
Redneck
you ever
engineering.
do that as a kid? Did you ever
I
have
did
the
not.
little can with the
I didn't
line through
believe in it.
Like on
It was
a-
for me. It was too
okay,
much
wait.
magic.
Wait. For real. We've
See,
watched
that's bad that your parents wouldn't let you do other stuff, but they let you magically talk through the hidden line.
only to people in the house.
Hmm.
But it wouldn't have reached. I mean, the only person that lived close enough it could have reached her had been Shannon, and yeah, it still would have been kind of a long
Okay, go
walk.
ahead.
Anyway, but all these times we've watched the movie, with Adam Sandler and the kids.
I've
do
seen
it.
grown ups.
And you never in your life did that. Not
I don't
even as
think so. Maybe I
fun?
did, but I don't really think so.
Oh, those were fun. I don't know if they actually worked, but we tried.
You know why? Because at the age of 5, I was running the streets of Chicago playing tag and hide and seek.
But then you moved to Alabama, so
Yeah, we moved to
you wasn't
Alabama,
running
and
the
the very
streets of
first time
Chicago.
my brother saw a cow, he's like, "Mom, wow, look what big dogs they have here." Never seen a cow before because we always lived in the city.
Which one was that?
But like
I don't know his
you
Curtis
don't learn
name.
about
Okay. All right.
you don't learn about that in school.
You don't? Not really.
Listen, no, because my brother saw a
How'd
bear
they teach all y'all's ABCs?
and yelled that it was a cow. No, he saw a cow and yelled and thought it was a bear.
See?
I'm sorry. But we were in like
How do they
Gatlinburg
teach
or
y'all y'all's
something.
ABCs? Like word association.
Look, here's what's
Did they even do that when we were in?
here's hang on, trippy moment. If my brothers went to school in Chicago and they learned their ABCs, how come they never spoke Spanish? They went to predominantly Hispanic school,
Oh, did they?
but when I went there, they weren't speaking it either. I was the only white kid in my class.
Like nobody spoke Spanish?
No one spoke Spanish.
That's weird.
They taught in Spanish, taught in English,
Well, because it was an English school.
but they were 99, maybe 99%
Maybe
Puerto Rican.
Well, even the schools out here
But
that have
maybe-
a predominantly high
I get it though, but
Hispanic
like
rate,
maybe
we
they.
still
yeah.
teach in all English.
But I
That's
mean,
I didn't think about that ever until now. How did that happen? How did I get into that timeline of where I was the only?
I don't know. Just
Okay, anyway,
I
but
forgot
that was
what we
really
were talking
weird.
about.
I didn't think about that anymore. You know, like it was odd that I went to the school and it was 99% not the dominant language there, but it was spoken, and that I was saying because my brothers never learned the Spanish language because they went to the same school.
Oh.
And so they didn't teach Spanish
But
at
you
that
didn't
school.
learn it until you were much older.
I know I didn't learn it until high school.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I still don't know it.
but yeah,
And
you
Duolingo-
got like all the.
I got the
words for it.
basic. Yeah, I was like, isn't that funny? Like who's among
what?
like American high school students in
Dad's
Spanish?
got- I mean, yeah, your dad
Like-
got like who's who and-
Duolingo's hard.
I
Not
know.
like
I like
hard.
Duolingo. I
No,
haven't
no,
done it in a long
It's not
time.
hard, but
It's
like you don't
It's fake
remember anything.
because
I remembered
repetition.
a lot of it.
There's
I
a
used
big
to
difference.
Use it before we would go to Mexico.
No one's going to speak to you in Duolingo language.
No, they're not. But I mean,
I'm like,
But-
hang on, can you slow down and tell me your?
Espanol.
You know what
That's
I
all
hated?
I know. Where is the bathroom?
Rosetta Stone
Yeah,
because
Oh yeah, that
that's
one was good.
you had to speak to it and it would never pick it up correctly.
look, you
Ugh.
could get your AI to teach you a language now.
Oh, that's right.
I
you
didn't.
Can.
I mean, you can. He would teach you a different language,
He
but
would- yeah, wow.
the reason that Rosetta Stone that was more
because it's
realistic.
picture word association, and then you use voice.
But
as
my
well.
problem with it is it would have never actually try to pick up like what you were saying.
It didn't.
No matter how many times you said it, even if you said it correctly, it would
But
say that it.
also, it was back when you were in elementary school.
Yeah, I was in like 3rd grade.
And we were in Alabama, and your accent, your southern twang was like "Como está?"
I know I
And-
did not.
no,
sound
no
like that.
disrespect
you
to
did.
our.
Yeah,
No disrespect, because I'm
All of our
very
friends.
southern, and if you can't hear it, well, you ain't listening good enough because it's there. But
So what are y'all talking about? Y'all
he was
went off on
talking
a
about
tangent.
teaching Spanish.
So we were talking about like Duolingo. It is not. I can't even say it. It is not real world scenarios. It will get you by in a pinch.
That's why you need them
Well,
headphones.
But there's
But
headphones now.
now-
There's apps.
yeah, those translate headphones. Those
Yeah.
things are cool.
I wanted to. I want to get somewhere to the nail salon.
That's what people do. But
like-
there on Duolingo, the last time I had it is you actually have like it's like a fake phone call with somebody, and then you have like fake text messages where it doesn't tell you what to say, but you have to read the sentences and
Who does
respond
that?
back to them. Duolingo. You have to
Really?
read
Is that the newer version?
Read it and respond back.
read the sentences and respond back to them. But I think there was also like some type of phone call, fake
Mm.
phone call that like the AI
Oh,
people they
okay.
read it to you and you had to respond back to them.
Yeah,
That's
they're gonna have
cool.
to
It
up their
doesn't-
game.
It
If,
doesn't tell you like
Mhm.
any like what to say. You have to.
Oh,
if they don't want people going and getting it free from Chat GPT, they're going to have to up their game and give new
But now it's not like
features.
you can't keep going after you lose like 5 hearts. You have to wait till your hearts replenish before you can keep practicing.
What it doesn't teach you, and they need to incorporate, and I don't know if they do now or not, but there's a lot of slang words that we don't know.
Right.
And it can be confusing unless you really, really emerged into the culture. You don't really learn the language and the lingo. You can get enough to get by. But if you're really trying to learn a language fluently and correctly, I think you need to spend at least 6 months to a year in that culture.
Let's go.
I mean,
I'm just saying.
you gotta think
that,
about all the kids when I used to work in the pre-K. We had about 4 or 5 kids that came in and didn't know any English at all.
Right.
And we were trying to communicate with them with like the translator because
Oh,
you don't,
like
you don't
the
have to be
Google App
bilingual
translator?
to work there. But by
Yep.
like,
Can you imagine how tough
by
that
like
is for those kids?
January,
Yep.
by like January, February, they could speak full English and understand it. And
yeah.
their parents don't speak it at home. The only place they hear
I
it is
had a
at the
student I
school.
had to do that with.
Yeah.
I would leave, like every time I'd see him come up to the desk, I would just put the phone out like this with the
Right.
Translate app up. And he would hold it, and then he would like whatever he said, and then it would translate
But it's also
back to
it's
me.
a lot easier for them to it's a lot
Learn a
easier to
language
learn
now.
language at
Mhm.
that at
Oh,
young
yeah.
age than it is.
It's hard for an adult to do it because we don't really want to go that much effort. It's too much of a it's kids do it naturally when we're young.
Right.
And even though it's struggle, like as adults, it's like, man, it's just trying to get out of that comfort zone,
Mhm.
There's some people, I don't know, I mean, they're so gifted. There's just
Yeah.
so many people on YouTube that have 26 languages fluently and 52. I don't know. I know there's some people that have way more than that, but they can
think
do it
it'd be
so
awesome.
fluently. And one guy has this whole channel about traveling to these countries
Mhm.
and he's speaking to the locals. I'm not talking about the touristy areas.
Yeah. Like the actual.
He's
like,
going
where the
down and
locals
knowing
hang
the
out.
slang words. He knows and they're looking at him. They're like, how does this gentleman, he looks to be a white guy. I don't know his background. He looks to be a white gentleman, younger, probably in his 30s, young 30s, late
But
20s.
That's cool.
And he knows all these like very hidden culture languages. So he's taken upon himself to know it. And they look at him because when you go to some of these countries, there's like, let's say, and I don't want to offend anybody, there's say Mandarin.
Yeah.
And then there's a language within the Mandarin.
Oh yeah.
And so this guy knows the language within the language.
Mm-hmm.
So he can go and talk to all the locals
Right.
on a local level. And they'll talk to him differently because they'll respect him at a different level than they would you or I.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going there and not knowing anything about their culture or anything about their language, right?
They also realize they can't
That's-
talk about you behind your back because you understand their language.
I'm not
But
saying that they wouldn't be
That's kinda
friendly.
cool, though.
I'm not saying that they'll be friendly.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be friendly, but they're going to have to be more real with you because you know the local culture lingo to a certain degree.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they know more than you ever will because they'll never teach you everything,
Mm-hmm.
right? Just for that reason, because they know people out there is trying to gain that knowledge. So they're going to keep some of that secret.
I'm just wondering, like the guy that you're talking about, how does he have the capacity
I don't know. It's
to
like I
know
said,
it
they're
so
gifted.
fluently?
You know,
Like
it's
if he didn't have to do like, because even like
bro's
with the
bio system is heavily upgraded.
even with the students that live here and are around their friends every day, they still have to have like sometimes our new, like, the ones that are still deeply
mean-
rooted in Spanish, they still need that think time when we speak to them. And so I'm just like, this guy, I mean, that's hard enough with one language. Can you imagine
Right.
having 20 or 30?
I mean, I would like to go back and look at his story to see if he really struggled with learning it and he actually had to focus and learn it,
Mhm.
immerse it, and he's actually spent all that time.
Yeah.
Or is he like gifted and naturally it comes easy?
Yeah.
Because some people, they just see like numbers.
Yeah.
So he may just be able to have a different type of
Mhm.
genetic or accessing some
mean,
part of his brain that we
Everybody's
can't.
different, Yeah.
He has a gift, I don't know. So it would be interesting to see, hey, if he was a common Joe and anyone can do this,
Mhm.
or if, hey, okay, he has a slight advantage because he's an anomaly, because he's gifted, right? And
Maybe he listens to those hypnosis ones when he sleeps.
when he's sleeping,
And it teaches him.
yeah.
Because I was like, man, if that would work, I would so listen to about 3 or 4 different languages.
Yeah, but
But I
knowing
wouldn't be
me,
able to-
I would have messed something up and get my dream stuck in German. And I wouldn't ever be able to dream in English again.
That's weird. That wouldn't happen.
What?
That wouldn't happen.
You
I
don't
bet
think people that speak multiple languages don't get dream in other languages?
So have you ever been,
Well, that's true.
have you ever met? Now, I'm not being disrespectful. Have you ever met a foreigner in your dreams, like that spoke a different language?
No.
No.
What?
Have you?
No.
Oh, I thought you were about to say me. Yeah.
I'm saying so.
It was
Like,
weird that we hadn't.
if that's like our dream state, and there's a lot of theories, and I'm not going to go into too much deep, but there's a lot of theories that once we're sleeping, our spirit or whatever, a lot of people say it's going to be at rest and we're just recharging.
Right.
And a lot of people say they get the chance to go on to whatever, to float and play around,
Right.
astro project within the realms of our mind.
It ain't very recharging when you got nightmares.
Nightmares, mirrors,
Nightmares.
they're so scary, aren't they?
Yes, they are. You wake up and
Nightmares.
your TV's turned off and it's just pitch black in your room.
I know there's no like I'm ready to throw hands.
I gotta find my controller so fast to turn on my TV because this TV turns off so
I can't stand that
quickly during
TV
the
being
night.
brightly lit in our room when we're trying to sleep.
I
I
can only
need
s-
it dark.
That's my nightlight.
I'm a 45-year-old grown man,
I can't
partially
stand
grown.
the lights.
and if
I'm
I wake up,
trying to
if I
sleep.
wake up and it's all the way pitch dark, I'm ready to throw hands.
Yes,
No,
because
but
I need to
just-
see something.
I just, if I open my eyes and it's pitch black, I'm just like, okay, my eyes must still be shut. So I'll
no,
just
because
roll
if I
over
open
and
my
go
eyes
back
and
to
it's pitch
sleep.
black, I'm gonna be like, oh, I'm about to start seeing stuff.
Look,
So I need to turn my TV.
I gotta
on.
be
But
able to-
see, if you have a light on there are shadows on the walls and
Nope.
the ceiling.
If you
Just
turn the light on,
hand
it's
pump.
safe.
No, seriously.
Get up the light on. got
I mean,
the
it's not
TV
like you got
on.
a Chucky doll looking down at you
I
while
do
you're sleeping.
have a Chucky doll looking down at me while we sleep. It's on your side.
Might
Ma'am,
as well put a mirror
Do you
over
know
there
how
too.
freaky that is?
Chucky's got
Give
our
Chuck-
back.
Give Chucky
And you
a
know when
mirror.
the light hits
Man-
that plastic cover just right, he looks
Look,
scary.
I was
Just
Chucky's friend
coming out
whenever
of the
I had him
box.
as my buddy.
Look, this doll's freaky.
Look, that doll knows. That's who I want on my side. That if he's got that much power as a doll,
But he looks like right over at
We can
me,
do a
like he's just
favor.
like,
we can give him a mirror for you.
no.
Yeah.
Look,
Just
I don't want a mirror in our room. It's
he
not
can have one
happening.
face in him and one
They're
face
portals.
in you.
I'm not doing it. Look, I don't do mirrors late at night, and I don't like Chucky dolls. I know, buddy, you don't either.
that's her top two things. I don't do mirrors or Chucky dolls.
Well, you have both.
I know, but it's all right. I'm getting used to the Chucky doll.
Does anybody? I mean, a lot of people are freaked out by dolls, right?
Yes,
Are
you-
this one.
You are.
Hey, don't point your hands
This
at
one.
me.
Especially
I have
if
a
it's like an
name.
Yeah, that-
antebellum old timey doll. She's terrified of
Okay,
them.
that lady with her broken leg, she could.
She's talking about that doll that we had
It
for
depends on
years
it
and years.
depends on the
Like this
doll. Like if you go through an old antique shop, and some of them just look creepy.
Well, some
but
of
then
those are
it's
creepy.
because I watched a lot of those videos growing up of like the scary videos, and there's always those dolls with, like their heads turning. I don't know if it was real or not, but it's like all the Barbie dolls and normal dolls, their heads will
So,
just be like.
She's terrified of dolls, but Bones here doesn't scare her
Stop.
at all.
Bones is my homie.
And for those of you that can't see, we have a whole skeleton named Bones
Yeah,
sitting
we
in the fourth
somehow
chair.
we implemented them around Halloween, right?
Yeah, but
We had them sitting at our
Um,
kitchen table,
Alba
which
bottom.
Alba bottom.
yeah, Alba bottom jeans and the boots with the
Alba.
fur.
We dressed him
bought
up.
him.
No, it was. What was he for Halloween?
He was playing poker.
He was
Oh.
playing poker.
He had
And
a cowboy
then
hat
table.
on,
Oh,
and he
he
was
was.
wearing
And
sunglasses.
now
That's right.
y'all can't see him, but he has Christmas PJs on from Christmas.
And Buddy
he-
Elf.
But
And Buddy
his
Elf.
his pants are
Gingerbread.
gingerbread skeletons because he's a skeleton.
Buddy.
But for Christmas, he held our presents and
Yeah, he was
and
creeping in the corner over
he
there
was
around our
creeping in the
Christmas
corner.
tree.
So if you look
He scared
closely in
me
our
for a
Christmas
while.
picture that's posted,
Did you post it?
on mine on Stephanie _ clues, I
okay.
did, not on
He
yours.
scared me for the longest time because I forgot he was there, and I'd just see a skeleton just sitting across.
So he's
against
sitting in the back
wall.
creeping in on our family picture.
Let's take a quick time out to recognize our Ardmore Tigers as Cali's representing my old alma mater. They had a 9-3 record this year. I think that was their best record they had. I think
You
it was
still
almost
keep
20
up with
years.
their
Every
football?
look, you know your home, you know your old hometown if you can't go and not know what an Ardmore the scores are. Like I still keep up with what the scores are. Like if they will live stream ball games and I'll watch them.
He does do that.
I do it.
Really?
I mean that's how
Oh my
connect.
gosh.
You don't. If you grew up in a town and you connect your life to it, there's still a part of you that's there regardless of where you go. And if it don't, then you just fake.
It's okay. I never want to go back to where I grew
You know what I'm
up.
saying? Like
I mean, I kind
The
of agree with
first
you,
12
but
years
not
of my life?
100% because
no.
even though my town was small, it wasn't as small as
Look,
yours.
we were so like
I could-
bonfire type.
but I've been back to mine.
After
I
ball
would not
games,
do
you know.
anything
What
to
are
go
you
back
doing?
to where I grew up.
This dog just like
Where until I was
turned off my
12.
phone. No,
I mean,
like,
look, I had some great times. I mean, and there's a lot of advantages of living in a small town, a little city. I mean, one of the bad disadvantages, everybody knows your business and the
Yeah.
gossip, and they're going to talk about you Monday through Friday and say God bless you on Sunday as they shake their hand.
You did something
know.
at school and your parents already
Bless
know.
your
it before
And
you
bless
go
your
home.
heart.
your
And we're
parents
going
know
to go
about it before you
to
make
listen.
it home.
And we're
That's
going to
What
Mildred's.
I said.
We're going to Mildred's after church,
I
and
know.
we're either going to fight in the parking lot or we're going to have some banana pudding.
What is
Right.
Mildred's?
We may be
It's
doing both.
probably the town cafe.
So Ardmore, as
town
you
that
leave
got her.
Ardmore Highway 53, going back towards Huntsville, there was is a
Huntsville.
restaurant that
it
is
still
called
there?
Mildred's. I think it is. I don't know if it's got renamed.
You need to take a.
But
You need
look,
to take a drive back
needed-
through
Well, we
Ardmore.
went back.
We
not
went
too
back.
long
We went.
ago,
It
and
was a year ago, year and a half,
maybe-
year or
go to
two
Ardmore.
ago,
one of your
for-
cousins. Yeah, I don't
to
know.
visit my
Oh,
cousin.
yeah.
Yeah, we went down there for a little bit, and everything was so different. Though.
Yeah, it's so built
Maybe
up.
not
right?
going back into Ardmore.
That's how
but-
Madison is. When I went down there, everything's different.
I mean, pretty much now from Athens all the way to Madison is just they
Well-
didn't plan for that rapid growth, and so they're running into the issues that we're running into here, that everybody's running into in the areas that's like booming, say like Madison, Limestone County,
and
because the
Athens.
arsenal stuff, and they're bringing in a lot of new jobs there.
Yeah.
So that area is booming. They didn't think about when they want to pop up all these homes
Oh, yeah.
and these apartments, because you can't
There-
you
I
can't
mean,
go
yeah, like,
anywhere
where,
without getting an apartment and a car wash.
was
on
that
every
72?
Yeah, 72 is just
Like,
apartments and everything down through it
They
now.
were everywhere. I didn't even know where we were at.
Hey,
we went
let's-
to that Waffle House. And
Let's
then
add
it's
all
like,
these people, right? But let's still give them the same amount of lanes.
Yeah. Like, that's
You know,
a
it's
great
like
idea.
I know a lot of them. I mean, it was when we visited. It used to be that 72 was crazy sometimes, and you knew
This
to expect
time
it.
It was crazy.
And
all
you
the
knew
time.
565 was hit or miss if there was a wreck, or 5:30 in the
Yep.
afternoon. And you knew the Parkway was really only for those that really didn't value their life. Because you
I
knew
don't know. I would rather.
I say
would
that
drive on
because
that Parkway over 45.
that, like, if you really had to find out if you want to relate anything to what the Parkway was like, in my mind, it was like playing Grand Theft Auto, and anything was legal on the Parkway. And if you got off on the Parkway, anything was legal to survive. So you remember, and here's a perfect example. We were just getting off of the Parkway right after we got married and moved into the house. We were doing our floors. And this guy, he just turned around and started following us, right? And then he followed us all
Oh
the way
my
down this
gosh,
road.
yes.
And he followed us into the flooring place.
That's
and he just
right.
started like flipping out. And like, we didn't do anything to this dude,
I
right?
do remember that.
So I'm like, and I know like there's sketchy stuff that's on both sides of the parkways, right?
Yeah.
Maybe not anymore. I don't know. Maybe there still is, but I know when I grew up in that area, it was so sketchy. Look, I'm not joking. I don't know if they did this on purpose to trick, or maybe some dude did it to hook up his boy. I don't know, but they had a gentleman's club named Fantasia. Right, Fantasia. I think you could be, I don't know, 18, 21. I don't know if
I think
they,
it was
whatever. I
18.
don't know, but I think that's and that it was like going right before you went across the bridge over into
Huntsville.
Arab or I don't know, Lacey Springs.
Lacey Springs.
Because when we worked from Arab, when we lived in Arab and had to drive
Yeah,
to Huntsville,
Yeah.
passed it every day. Didn't go in there because I knew, like, even from my days, like there's some places you know about,
You just don't go.
but you just don't go. And I'm not saying anything about the establishment, but I'm just saying, when you, okay, we'll just go on.
You just don't go.
Pretty much and they had a putt-putt golf thing called Funtasia.
Oh, they did. Oh my gosh! And people would mess those
Fantasia.
up, and they'd be like, "Make sure you go to
Yeah, make
Fantasia,
sure
not
you're going, that you look in the car and you're like, oh, you got little kids. Yeah, you're going to want the golf course. He's like, what do you mean? He's like, you're going to thank me, right? You want to go to don't go too far and
Yep.
don't go into this building. If you go down there, if you've gone to the bridge
You've gone
and there's
too
a
far.
building, you've gone too far. Like, it's like if you see the Ryan's belt, you've gone too far. Was that on couples retreat? I feel like we should be writing some of this down.
No, he's got it. He was a Boy
He's got it as a Boy Scout, Eagle Scout. Yeah, so they had Fantasia and Funtasia open at the same time.
And it was a 2-story building. Funtasia was, because it was like They had like a shop upstairs or something. Remember, it had the stairs. It was a white building. It was outlined in red, like a metal building. Right? Is that the right one I'm thinking of?
So Funtasia was the golf course, the
No, I'm
putt-putt
talking
golf,
about
the gentleman's club.
Fantasia.
Okay, sounds like you know more about it than I do.
No, from passing it. I just
I know,
remember it.
passing it. I know it's like a clothing store.
I don't know. I
Said
guess,
shop or something.
Or I just remember on the outside there were stairs that went up, and then there was like a door. Maybe that was where the dancers went or something. I don't know.
But whatever happened, happened, I guess. I mean,
I was asking if that was where it was. Like if you were on the parkway heading back towards the bridge, going
So-
back towards Lacey Springs, it was on the side of the parkway,
it was,
right?
I can't remember. You know, I don't know.
Or maybe
To
that
be
was
honest.
a fireworks store. Now that I'm not real sure.
No, Funtasia. I'm thinking, how far did you have to go to get to Funtasia? Did you have to keep going towards Hazel Green, or was it more back towards Huntsville, over there by Krispy Kreme and everything? You remember that area where Krispy Kreme was?
Krispy Kreme.
Man, I miss
If the
those.
light
I
is
miss those
on.
lights on, guys.
There's
we-
one, but it's all
There's
the way
one
in
here.
Humble.
It's like an umble. And listen, we've kind of Texified ourselves now. We have to say umble, and that's how you know if people are
Umble.
from Texas or not. If you hear someone say, "Are you from
Humble.
Humble?"
It's Humble.
No, that's like asking somebody if they from what's the one in Alabama? Like a funny name, not funny name, but what's a name like only true Alabamians know the name,
Oh, hang
and
on.
other people call it something else.
Let's see. That would be
I know a lot of you people from Alabama right now are saying 100 of them right now, but we've been out of
okay,
Alabama
Talladega, Tuskegee.
for about 8 years now, so
I don't know.
they have videos about these, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they
Yeah.
have to say these words, and it's like
Yeah, like
yeah, but I can't remember
like
when I'm
Kirkendall.
Kirkendall.
Kirkendall,
But
like
that's
that.
in
But
Texas.
see,
that's
it's
in
spelled
Texas.
like Kuykendall.
It's spelled nothing like Kirkendall.
Right.
I'm like,
There's not
you
an
would
R
never
in
know
it,
that.
But it's you
But
can't get away here saying
Kayakendall or
Or
Kirkendall.
Kyak-
and
yes.
But there's no
It's
R
Kuykendall.
at all.
No, it's Kirkendall.
But no R. Spelled in.
Mm-mm.
like Kirkendall,
Mm.
DAHL,
Yeah, but it's spelled
but it's spelled KYU.
KUY. It's like in Louisiana where it's Bo, BO.
Yeah, it's just like you would never know.
Whatever.
EAUX.
Yeah.
Yeah, go.
And it
Oh
stands
my
for O.
gosh,
Go.
that annoys me
go,
so
no.
much. Not only do I hate, I love.
It's
Look,
the Cajun way of spelling
look, I
stuff.
love Cajun people, but I can't stand y'all's bridge, man. What's that bridge?
Louisiana
Baton
Bridge?
Rouge Bridge.
Oh gosh.
Oh my gosh, that's like the armpit of
One over there
Satan.
by
Is that
LSU.
the
LSU by
Oh,
Baton
oh,
Rouge.
no.
God,
The
we
big
always-
Please do
it
something there,
shakes.
guys.
Build
Please
a-
do
Build
something.
a highway in the sky.
If we can do something
Put
in
a traffic light
2025,
right in front of the bridge. Only have a certain amount of people going.
look, if you would
Build
do
a toll road
if you would do a
that
toll
goes
road,
from like
I promise you,
Texas
I
to-
promise you, if
I
you do
will
a
pay
toll
for
road,
it.
the people from Texas will make you money.
Because we hate
We hate that part.
we hate I-10.
Oh gosh.
Just replace I-10. Like we just need a toll road.
No, we can't do the whole. Yeah, if there was a toll road that was from I-10, if it
Yeah,
started
from, started like out this way and ended
like
in
if I didn't even,
Alabama.
if I didn't really have to dip into Beaumont, if I could just scoots on over from,
Yeah.
I'll go down a little bit, but I mean, if I can just go, I
We
mean, I
could
can even
skip
meet you at
Beaumont.
Beaumont.
Yeah.
I'll meet you at Beaumont. It's about an hour and a half.
As long as there's no
And
big
if you
storms
give me a
before we
toll
have to go.
road that runs all the way to where we want to go,
Let's just say Mobile, since Mobile gets us to
of
Florida.
course,
Florida.
Well,
of
no,
course.
I'm thinking because if you get to Mobile, then you just take.
Yeah, because you got the beaches.
You got 98. If you get to Mobile, then you get on 98 and it takes you
I
to
think,
Panama
but
City.
I think you need to have a
Miami.
bypass to go to. You want to get off of Lake Charles?
You could have a bypass.
Yeah, you got to have detours.
Yeah.
But I would pay $100 every trip. Hey, buddy,
Just to,
are you smiling now? I would pay $100 every trip each way just to bypass that bridge.
I know I hate that area.
I mean,
so
Oh.
happy.
But I would want the toll road all the way down, though. Don't just say, well, let's just put a toll road around it, make you pay 100. I know how some technical people, how some of you are, but
Oh, okay.
Aw.
Oh, okay.
It was embarrassed.
You okay, Bubs? She's smiling.
he's smiling now.
Oh, he
Those
got his-
fireworks are exciting you, aren't they? For all of you that have your fur babies and fur friends, if you're in the neighborhood, your animals are probably going hysterical unless you've gave them their goods.
He has had his. He has
Three.
had his calming gummies.
Yes, that's why he's not running around. No, but 99% of the time he's chill.
He's chill.
How
He's
he always
always
is.
in.
But
But he
how I
did
know
get a
that he's a
little
little
upset.
stressed is
He
because
won't eat nut treats.
he won't eat his treats.
He never turns
Those
out
bacon,
The
those
bacon
bacon
treats.
strips have been on that floor for about an hour and a half, and he won't go get them.
And he
on a
never
normal day,
turns down
It won't even
food.
hit the floor.
Mm-mm.
He
Oh.
will eat anything
The
out of your
only
hand,
other time he did that was when he was sick that one day.
and he's like a
But he
little
was
nervous.
eating earlier, but then when those fireworks started
Maybe
going off, that's
he
when
has like
stopped.
you know how
PTSD.
he takes his gummies and you get the munchies. He's the opposite. He don't got no hunger.
He don't have an appetite.
No. Yeah, appetite, not hunger. He don't got
Well,
no
he can't be
hunger.
named Waylon and not have that reputation.
Mm-mm.
Waylon and Willie.
Uh.
He hears those dogs outside.
I know.
See, that's torture. Like, I would never put my dogs outside or animal outside
I know during
when people are
this.
doing fireworks.
It's
Well, they're outside. I'm pretty sure they're
insane.
outside in the rainstorms.
These animals are out. Look, some of y'all, I know y'all know what we go through. Some of these animals are outside 24/7 most of the time.
We have one that it will be out at 3 in the morning and it will stay out all day
And I get it. When it gets
Not
cool
ours. We don't have
outside and
one.
it gets,
in the neighborhood.
and if
there's
you're
one.
and I say, well, that's what you moved, HOA. Trust me, don't even go about HOAs. But if you're in an area, if you're in a neighborhood, and you may have, and once again, this is how cool you are with your neighbors and everything. But don't assume that it's cool with your whole neighborhood that you're going to let your dog that's going to bark all night just sit out there all night just because you don't know how to control him on the inside, right? Take him. I mean, it's not the dog's fault. That's bad dog. That's
Take 'em
bad
to
pet
obedient
ownership.
classes.
Let
or,
him, train him.
or
I don't.
train 'em
I don't.
or put on
I
some
don't.
calming music or.
I don't like recommend any shock therapy.
Mm-mm.
But I would say like,
But there's a reason why he's doing that.
yeah. I mean,
Just like a kid would.
you got to see what that behavior is. What does he want? Why is he out there barking the whole time? And I mean, that's the people that like shouldn't be pet owners.
Yeah.
They're they just want a pet. They've always had a pet, and it's like just because you have a pet don't mean you're a good pet owner, right? So
Right.
and we all know that. But I wouldn't like during this time of the year. I said I would never leave these animals out here, fireworks, and have them stressed out all night. That anxiety and.
No.
And a lot of people don't even know animals get anxiety, right? They don't even think about that type of stuff.
If we get it, they can get it. Of course,
So-
most of us didn't know we could get anxiety either until recently. So.
Now let's shift gears.
All right. Let's
Y'all
do
ready?
this. Yeah. Shifting gears.
Shifting gears. I didn't finish on my Ardmore people. I got into the small town. Got to go back. Ardmore Tigers football 9-3. Best record they had almost 20 years. Shout out to Coach Snyder. I think he got like Coach of the Year.
This year?
Yeah, this year.
Oh, okay.
Also, some of the guys were recognized as all county, but I think they made it to playoffs.
Really?
So he really did a lot for the team there. Great, outstanding guy. Followed his journey and everything. So a lot of props to that and the small town. Look, in those small town football games, they support their people, right?
Mm-hmm.
You ain't gonna see anything empty. Even in the small towns, they're gonna travel, and they're gonna have more people.
Yeah.
The band at Ardmore is sometimes used to be, and this is probably not anymore, but the band used to be bigger than the opposing people's crowd.
Right.
That's just how much Ardmore supported their football team and their
Mhm.
sports. And they would come and watch baseball. They would come and watch and volleyball, whatever it was. So it was very the small town, the stuff that they could make it to, that they went and supported, right?
Mm-hmm.
So just want to take,
Every Friday night, you were at the football game.
I was at football. Oh yeah, you better be at the football game on Friday night. Some people had to work, like your smaller grocery stores. They didn't close till 9. And then
Yeah, but that's why you put in early to get
Well,
off.
look,
Because
there
I
were
worked
some
at
people-
the grocery store
trust
and I
me.
got off for Friday nights.
there were some people. It's like, look, I'm done with it. I don't like it even whenever I went to school. So I'm definitely not going to go to a ball game. So I'm not really focused into the sport. So just let me work and get the hours.
Mm-hmm.
So they knew that they could work, and right.
Yeah.
And then some people
Yeah.
they'd be trying to swap their shifts. Some people would even pay somebody to take their shift.
Oh,
So-
get in trouble for doing that, I'm sure.
Well, you just work it out. Like, hey, do me a favor, take my shift, and they would pick it up, and
People still pay people to take their shit.
yeah, they do it. It's just like doing them a solid.
Because you're like, oh, I don't want to work, but you pay me $20, I guess.
And it
I'll
don't
work
count.
And make that
And
money.
because already know they're going to be like, as long as you got somebody to cover your shift. And usually in like the service industry, they're more understandable
Mhm.
that way. That ain't that's not how it is in like production based place, right?
Yeah.
You don't just say, "Hey, somebody's going to get my shift tomorrow for me." They're like, "No,
Yeah, but like,
no."
I don't want
like,
to come
eh,
teach tomorrow. I'll pay you $40 if you
Yeah.
want to take my class.
Yeah.
Right.